Alrighty, man. Welcome back to more Space Engineers 2. We are now officially on episode 4 in the series, and as you can tell, so we did, I guess as you can tell, right? Because just from that little part, but we did some overhauling to the base that we made in the end of last episode, right? So it's like the same general platform, but I did raise it up. So I'd like control X to cut it, raised it up, pasted it back in, and then I cut the corners and put slopes for the corners. I did close it off and have the underneath as well. Then we raised it up, put some rails around, closed things up, and I like this structure, this platform a lot better than the very generic slab we threw down the first time. But because this is a rather chunky little piece of land here we're working with, I added this down here just as a little starter area. Just loaded up some cargo, got the lights going, some batteries, only one's welded so far, and a solar panel. This is just to get some of the basic starter stuff down as we're working on main base over here. I'm just gonna show you around a little bit, and right here's gonna have a door to go underneath. So this is the hangar right here. So under the, I guess it will be a hangar parking spot, right? Dock. There we go. So this is the dock, and then connecting the dock all the way over here. We did pipe it up to the base. Alignment. All right. The SE2. So alignment is a little different, definitely when you're piping things up. So if I come up our stairs over here, you can see everything is piped up. Got our gear forge, 2 cargos, smelter, assembler, and our survival kit. But because of the alignment, like I was saying, there is a gap behind the wall. And if we come inside, I don't really need the welder. These right here are short conveyors, and then I believe the very top one is a conveyor slice. And that's just kind of the setup and approach that I had to do to reach this to that, this to that. So piping and everything in SE2 is a little bit different because you can move. The movement, the 25 centimeter, the very minuscule movements you can make. You gotta be good with the pipes, man. Okay. So I think our next step here is I'm gonna want a new vehicle. No offense, Grasshopper, but I think I need a mining vehicle. So I do want to start working on a mining ship, and then that'll help us with the construction of the base. I did check, like literally right before recording, my thrusters. So yeah, so I do have atmospherics. I'm gonna use atmospherics for the miner, just because currently I don't have like easy access to ice or anything, and a little bit of flying around and stuff I haven't seen any ice. So we'll get there, we'll leave the planet, but we're gonna work on some base stuff, and we're gonna start up with a miner. I think I'm gonna put it like right here. I might move the grasshopper unless I put it a little over here, but let's just move the grasshopper over a little bit. I got the thrusters off. Yeah, they're off. Grab all of these. Okay. The grasshopper lights on? Or are those my lights? They weren't on. Those are my lights. Maybe I'll park the grasshopper like this, honestly, and then leave the lights on. And then I'll have some lights on this side, some lights on that side. There should be enough space right there, right? Oh, there's the sound effect. We just were not level at all. We can turn these thrusters, these very loud thrusters, all the way back off. Leave the engine running so we can use that light. I have my headlamp on. Let's actually turn this off really quick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I should have been had the grasshopper over there, honestly. Jeez. But as you can see from my numerous blocks in every toolbar, yeah, we did some overhaul of the base, right? You want to try something different, you know what I mean, with this mining ship. And like I said before in previous video, I don't remember what video it was at this point, I want to make all my ships like enterable to an extent, right? I just don't want to use the cockpit, so I'm just not using a cockpit for you see. Now, speaking of previous episodes, so I noticed why we crashed. The reason we're stranded here actually is due to the fact smooth rotation. It just doesn't have to be perfect. We just need it. I do want to use these. I know now these are 19 steel plates, so it's going to take a lot more iron to put this bed with 665 for one of those versus if we did something like that, which is only 35. Interesting. And I don't know how much access we have to it, so maybe we do just start itty bitty. All right, that may be for the smart. I do want to try using like that half slab, unless I build around that half slab, because how big is this seat? Oh, like I was saying though, from previous episodes, the reason we're crash stranded here is due to the fact that our ship that we flew here was actually, yeah, I like that about 0, was actually set to have our dampeners off. But yeah, we crashed into the planet due to lack of dampening. But you live and you learn, all right? I'm just gonna, please. Pull this out. What? Maybe if I just, I don't know how much space we need. We'll just start with like 7 meters. And then we have some room to go back if we need it, but I don't really know what all we're doing here to begin with. Standard, we are going to start with the control seat. Can't see the look. Okay, there it is. This, put this like 2 blocks, and then I can fit the 1 block there, right? No, I actually do have to move that back. But like there, I believe, is where the front of our lovely seat needs to be. There, right? And on my luck, I placed it right back in the same spot. No, we did not. Ooh, we'll use this for our drills. Let's see. How wide do we want to go with the drills? I don't want to go too wide, and I also do want a few of them. I actually didn't check how in over our heads are we with making a drill. Compressors are very in over our head, and I believe smelter can make everything your pocket can make. So if the smelter can't make it, I'm assuming compressors are going to be made in an assembler. I mean, technically we do have power. I mean, it's nighttime, but we do have this battery, at least 1 battery. We do have solar. If I weld up maybe enough of these connecting blocks here, like just have some iron and just get like these small little blocks just to get up to the floor that we need, you know, just dump in little few piece, not all of it, at least right now. And then we can weld this bad boy up just so we can use it. Might not be a bad shout. Now, the only thing is, does our compressor, when making it, require any other item from like a smelter, right? Like, do I need tubes to make a compressor? Because sure, the suit can make stuff for me, but that's only for directly crafting on it. If I actually need the physical component, I'm gonna have to make it over there. But now we are kind of at an impasse. I didn't actually check this first, because we can't really make a drill ship without drills. I mean, we could design it and make it, and the only thing we wouldn't have yet is the drills, and then we can go ahead and probably get the assembler going so we can get the stuff we need for those. I just don't know what type of material we're going to need for that, but in the meantime, we do need a drill ship. And I'm just going to kind of keep it going away at it. Let's see what those look like. Now, are those both like center blocked? They are, but I don't know if I like how close that is. So maybe if I go out, I see like one more block on this way and make that the center point. I got one more block there. Get rid of that guy. That is not the right page. And actually, okay. So I believe that's the middle. Yes, it is. You know, we get rid of this one and do the same. Come on, you can do it. You do not want to be friendly on this side, do you? Okay, flipping it worked. And that should be the middle on that side. I do actually like that with a bit more. And because of like what we're saying about the drills, like 735 iron and 60 copper per copper could be feasible, right? Because how much is that? 60, so I need 120 copper if I'm only doing 2 drills. And I have 252 copper, so technically I could make 4 drills, because that'd only be 240. But that would use all my copper on just the drills alone, not saying, and I need copper for that. That's 160 copper for a control seat. Ooh. So now we're actually at 120 and 160, putting us at 280, and I believe I only had 252. Yeah, so we're actually short copper now for only making 2 drills. We'll keep it compact for now. Do the 2 drills. Obviously, we still have to pipe everything in. That rotation probably would have been better sideways, just because of the pipe there, and I could just pipe straight across. But it was giving me quite a hard time, genuinely trying to face it the other direction. Wait, we're in there. Be center blocked, right? Alright. And this should be facing the same way. That is center block. Beautiful. There's those. Do I have small conveyors? Yep, right here. The conveyor straight. Perfect. Alrighty, and then the 3 conveyors there. That's piped up. Now, what do I want to do about the whole getting in and getting out ordeal? Because here's about the rough relative visual we'll have from right here. We're gonna make this like relatively basic, honestly. I could just leave this side portion open. How wide is a door? Well, I was just for reference, just slap it against that block that's right there. And that's like literally just opening the door and getting in. Yeah, no. If that's the case, what we're going to do is just gonna create a back wall. Is this realistically does not matter what's behind this seat. And then here I want some cargo. I don't think these fit in that slot just because of where I have it. I could put these directly next to this. I do want to divvy up some of the weight though, because that's just going to be real front heavy. I kind of want to make it on the longer side, honestly. I feel like I'm always making these little compact miners. I could just do it like that. You know, we'll keep that port out on the side, and then we'll just bring the conveyor over from the back of the drill into the side of this cargo container. Maybe we do two, honestly. How does that look? You know, I'm fine with that. The battery's probably going to be like one block higher in there, huh? It is one. It is about one more block higher in there. I just face them both the same directions. Do like left-sided batteries. Now, if I'm doing it like that, part of me wants to raise the drills up. And that's why I wanted more drills to begin with. Because if I really wanted to, I could just slap a battery in the back, like facing up on the back of that cargo, and only have that battery. But because we're going to be hauling weight and things like that, I do want another battery. But if I set them going for length, I don't really care. What if I just throw both the batteries on the absolute end? The ship is getting long, but I'm fine. I'm actually fine with it. I usually have just ships straight components, very stubby. I don't mind this. And then we'll have the batteries just be top access. I could rotate them sideways and have them accessed out here. That might not be too bad, honestly. I did something like that instead. And in that way, they'll be accessible from there, and I don't have to like get on the roof to do it. So with two cargos, two drills, I might actually bring this down under this, like under the quote unquote floor of that. I technically only, I'm just like all about symmetry, because I technically only really need to pipe up one of the drills to one side of the cargo containers. For example, I could pipe up the right side and leave the left side unpiped. And then like the left side would be my entrance and the right side wouldn't have an entrance to like get in here. That's just safe assumption if this was fully encased. But this should be connected in a way where at least we're moving each. Wait, four. Okay, four has too many ones. Just remove that. So if I went like curved, right? You know, we went down, over, and then we brought it to like under here. Curved it out like that. And then curved it up. Curved it down. And then this is gonna have to curve it over. And then I should be able to use all straights from here. And I'm trying to use more pipes again. There's a lot of times in SC1 where I just use the conveyor junction. Like I was rarely using pipes on these ships like this. So do something like that, just so it has like the more narrow approach to the piping. You know, I actually don't mind that. And for the sake of symmetry, I'm gonna do it on the other side. Because why not? Pull my curve back out. So we curved it down, over, over. It's also curved down. This one curved. Okay, that's not at all what's happening. This goes that way. And then that curves back up. So that one curves over and over there. Is that all my curves? Okay, I should not be able to pull out the straight. Or that in there. curve that into there. Alrighty, so our drills are now fully piped into the first cargo, which is piped into our second cargo. We have 2 batteries, so that is everything we need on that front. Now the next step, how easy actually is it to get under here? Go third person. Okay, this ship's actually a lot higher. Yeah, the first person FOV compared to third person. So it's actually a lot higher than I thought. So like definitely crouching. Yeah, okay. So this will all be accessible even if I bring this out more. That's what I was worried about, because I'm trying to keep it within a range of before things get too out of hand that I can still reach everything. So we're just gonna bring that out to that other pipe. I'll actually just hold shift this time and bring out the whole grid of them. And oh, there we go. That's still only okay. That has to go in there. Guess we'll just drag the normal line then. Yeah. So we'll just pull that whole thing out to about there. And we'll figure something out about the whole piping in this part. Is this all able to be brought over? It is. Okay, well, we're gonna undo that for now, just because easier access to welding that. I guess there's some access points around, but I just want to leave everything generally open for the time being until we start welding stuff. I'm easily known for getting ahead of myself. But now with the ease out here, the main reason I want to do that is because behind here in these little nooks and crannies is where I can probably stick some of our much needed components. I don't think I have any gyros on the hotbar yet. So I'm thinking throw 1 gyro there, 1 gyro there. Let's actually do 4. Honestly, I can do them like the whole height of that. And it's a minor after all, so why not? We'll throw those like that. And then I do need an ore detector that I just want to slap right behind this seat. Wait, was that about to let me? Okay, hold on. Place this here and then just control, drag it down. Seat's too close. I can fit it directly on top of the seat. No, I can't. It's green right there, but verify build area is clear. I can put it up there though. I mean, it's fine. I'll throw one here. And then on the other side, we'll slap an antenna, which I do not have anywhere. So we'll make another page. I really need to clean up my hotbars, man. I did that when I was working on the whole base shenanigans. Maybe I just put that way like that. Then we'll have a beacon on it, right? Or antenna. My apologies. Antenna there sticking up. Ore detector. The ore detector, antenna, 2 drills, all piped into 2 cargos, 2 batteries, side left loaded batteries. So I believe the only additional thing we would need would be rust.
Suit energy low.
Whoop. Hold on. Technical timeout. Let's go hit our grasshopper. Refill some of our luscious energy. Righty. Now let's see here. I don't think I put the thrusters on the hotbar. I did not. I verified I have atmospherics, but I never actually. Now, do I make it a little longer and go 3rd battery is the real question, because I do want a lot of big boy thrust for holding me up in other directions. Again, I would like to use a good portion of these as main thrusters, honestly. Like for the rear? What if I just slapped one just like that? That actually not stick there? Interesting. Anyways, we'll do the up thrust. I just put it like directly in the middle of this back battery, maybe. And is incorrect. As long as the height level on that is accurate, that is correct. Alrighty, now it'll be up thrust. And if I went on the same level of that one, just bring it all the way over to it can't go over anymore. Bring it back one. That is actually also incorrect because I need to flip it. Bring it down to the same level. Bring it all the way over to it can't. Slide it back one. And this is just helpful for flipping and not knowing my actual proper rotation. And instead it has up and down. You will need some sideways and some forward, and I'm thinking about using a gap here for the side. Oh, did I just cover that battery? I did cover the battery because I have it side loaded. But always put it top loaded again. I'm gonna do my thruster setup like this. Okay. We're just gonna top mount the batteries, I guess. Just because I like the thruster setup more than I care about having the battery setup, you know what I'm saying? So we'll just top load the batteries, it's fine. I could do them bottom loaded actually. I think with the whole, oh my lord, I was about to say with the whole the way connectors is and like an easy way to get in and out the top would be the best. I don't even have a connector on here. Good comms, boys, good comms. All right, well, we'll get to that in a moment. I do believe this was just like that. Oh. Yeah. Okay. And those are both pointing towards the ground. Those are both pointing up. And this middle portion now, we can actually use to throw in side thrust. I could do them like leveled a little bit, like if I did. No. I can only do two. I should probably like move it over just a smidgen of a block and input it. No, it's still gonna have this like awkward little gap there. So if I just do one there, another one there, another one there. So that gives me 4 for that side. And if we do the same thing over here, slap one there, come out a little bit, slap one there and there. I should probably, if I have this much thrust to be able to carry me, I should probably have a little more for the sides. So we'll actually do it like that. I'm not gonna take it all the way up. I mean, we're still testing in SC2 as it is, right? We're testing to see how things hold up in survival nonetheless. I do need something to go forward. Part of me just wants to slap a big boy on it. Like, I really do. I really do. Like, will this place on the back of that thruster? Imagine. Because without this, and then like if I'm getting full on weight and I am being heavy, I just feel like I feel like at least for the brakes, I should at least have something like this. Like a cannon of brakes, honestly. But then that also makes me feel like if I'm doing that, is that far enough away? Am I gonna blast that off? You don't think I just like completely obliterate the grill or anything with that, right? Or where is the, because that's like direct line of sight of this block. I mean, we'll do it for science, right? We got to learn, test our limits. I don't know the actual range of what thrusters can damage something. If we're counting like this block is the first one, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I guess that's technically out to the 6th block. So, I mean, that could be fine, but I mean, thruster size and everything changes may vary. And then we do need some forward thrust. So let's just do something like this. Because unfortunately, I think I am just going to use the little ones. Even though I want the big fellas. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, I'm just going through my tabs. I'm lost in the sauce about where everything is at. Which way is that facing? I guess we'll just keep them all like that. And then we'll do something like that for the back thrust. Now it's going to be super slow, but like aiming forward. Like I'll be able to make a hole aiming forward, and then I'll also be able to back out the same way I went in. Like I don't have to turn around. And then flying home and everything, like I should never technically be tipped at an angle in which I have to use rear thrusters as primary lifting thrust, you know what I mean? Like the thrust I have to keep me up and the thrust I have braking is all the same, and the thrust keeping me down. So if I somehow end up upside down, and in flying forward, we may take a little bit to get up to speed with this type of arrangement. Oh, that would have been sick if I could have slapped one like right in the middle, just a little offset from those ones, but poking out. Because I could do the whole side and just connect those. Is that doing too much though if I do it like that? I can't even actually connect that there. I can if I rotate it. Can I actually put one in the middle then? Yeah, I can. What if I just use like a whole thruster wall for this rear part with the one sticking out like that in the middle? Yeah, let's remove some of these though, because remember, I do only have 2 batteries. Okay, what if I just slap those ones back in and get rid of the corner ones and just do what I wanted to do initially? Just have those ones with the one in the middle sticking out a little extra. But like I was saying, there should never be a reason where those are my supporting thrusters. You just kind of move me forward, nice, slow, and gentle. Everything should be accessible from here for me to do welding, and then all the little greeblings and things like that could happen after. But we do have gyros, we do have an ore detector, we do have an antenna for broadcasting said ores. We have 6 of the gyros. We have thrust that keeps us up, thrust that takes us down, thrust that moves us to each side, thrust that moves us forward, and a bunch of thrust to break us. And I could bring these down a tad, these drills, you know? If I brought those down a bit, but no, we need a connector. That's another reason why like part of me wants to do that, but I feel like I'll do that when I add more drills. With the 2 drills set up, I think those are fine there. Kind of high, and then bring those down to not have anything compensate for the top. You know what I'm saying? So we have a connector on one of these pages. Might be connectors on some of you mugs, but there ain't no connectors on me, so. And then maybe like, well, let's use the full block snapping. We won't micro move it. If we put that like there-ish. And I do want to throw some form of landing gear on it. Do I have my slopes? I do have slopes. Beautiful. Change the size of my slope. I just use the block directly. I could use the block oh, I just thought about. Yeah, okay, it's fine. We'll see how this pans out, honestly. And then using this like that for our landing gear also can serve as like a little ramp to get like into that bad boy. And I wanted to bring it out more, but I don't really want to make it any wider than that, realistically. I do not have landing gear set, so we will come here. Grab our landing and gear. And then we'll just slap that directly on the end of that one. Okay. Do you think that interferes with the connector at all? Like, should that not be... I mean, it kind of... Because if I only stopped there... I am not a fan at all how that is, though, but... I don't want it to interfere too much with the connector. It would probably have to be right there. It should be fine, right? If not, we'll rechange it later. Just slap that back on there. Control Z action. And then we'll come back to our slope again. We're just gonna bring this down the same exact way we did. Which is... I think that is the one, right? We're a little offset on like this hill right here. I think those are at the same height. I don't use symmetry mode because, you know, life, but landing gear just kind of right there. I should bring those back, honestly. I'm gonna do something more central, even though it won't be like lined up with the connector like I was doing, unless I just completely eat the connector back some, but I am fine for that for the time being. So as we fly around, go hit the grasshopper really quick, hop off our energy. Alrighty, looking good, looking good. Get rid of our HUD. Now, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this should be everything we need to hit the ground running with a very early stages real setup. Temporarily, let me just... I guess it doesn't matter, but back to page 1. Just remove that top block for the time being. And this could use Greeble, it could use some actual finishing touches that have things set up. But as I'm doing the whole avoiding using the cockpit designs for whatever reason, we are just going to say this is functional. We have thrust in every direction. We have ore detector, gyro, antenna. The drills are all properly piped into our first cargo container, which is piped into the second cargo container. The only thing I do not have access to is the cargo container, because cargo container slots are on both sides and in the middle, but there's none like on the bottom. And I slap thrusters on the sides where, I mean, I could probably access it through right there. Ew. What about behind the seat? Because all of that right there, this is going to be like a little weird and finicky to want to access, but I could just do something like remove that block. Make sure I'm in there looking at the right block. And then there's another one there. Oh, I knew it. Bound to happen. There we go. That's the right one. And if we just remove that, down that, That'll be the quickest, easiest way to have access to that cargo container without having to do any redesigning or moving of thrusters. Like, I know I could technically access it from right there, but I guess behind the seat's slightly more convenient. I could, because I could always just bring this all forward some more, make it even longer, and have an actual proper behind the seat. Like, there'd be like a little gap, so to speak, so you can actually walk into here, onto here, and then you would be able to access the cargo container, everything like that. But we're not making a miner of that caliber yet, because I do want all my ships to be enterable and make fancy stuff, but we need stuff to hit the ground running, and this does look like something that, fingers crossed, should function. And I use the term lightly, as we say should. But now we do need a bunch of materials to get this thing up and running, so we're probably gonna have to go and do some runs of what we need really quick. Don't mind me, I'm not taking a screenshot, you are. And throw the HUD back on, because we are going to need more copper. We could probably get the seat working now. We have the copper for that. Because the drills, like, yes, we need copper for those, but those are like the last thing we're going to need to do. Because what do we need to actually make this assembler? As I'm saying, we can do this. Oh, I need gold. There is gold in this sector. But if I can't find any gold planet side, there are other bases around with an assembler. I might have to return back to one of the bases we've been through over time, wherever that could be, man. Because there was like ice caves and all types of stuff we've passed along our journey. But I do believe our next step here, man, is to get our mining ship all welded up. The only thing I have to do is go out, get some ores, get some components. I can't even really finish it with the drills until we get gold. But once we have the ship, well, I did add an ore detector to the grasshopper, so if I want to fly out and get ores, I can do that. Yeah, everything else is Gucci other than the gold, honestly. That is a crap ton of iron. They named there 4,000 kilos of iron for that. That's just for that. Like, I need a little bit of extra, you know. But yeah, we're in for a treat. I really have no idea when or how we're gonna get the gold. We do have to go to space anyway to turn in. Well, what about hydrogen thrusters? Can I get that? Can I make hydrogen thrusters without the need of having to make the assembler? Because it's the compressors that are really getting me. Oh, that's the drills. The drills is what I mean. So I could make these, but if I can just make hydrogen ones, steel plate, metal grid. Let's just drag one of these bubbles, because I believe I can make these. I've made these before. In the ship that we crashed, it's just iron and cobalt. So we could, I just don't have easy access to ice, but it seems like we're even so gated right now with our progression, doing the whole story mode path that we're doing, and because we blew up numerous ships now, we might have to make something that can go up and fly to space, because we're gonna need gold before we can make the assembler, and we need the assembler before we can make the mining ship with the drills. And I wanted to do the contracts anyways. Man, this playthrough got really interesting. We designed the full mining ship, but we can't use it or start welding it because we have to make an assembler to be able to make the compressors, and to be able to make the assembler to make the compressors, I need gold. And unless I find gold lying around planet side, I mean, we could just make something that travels to space, go back to space and continue our journey, unlocking the blocks. Then we'll have everything. Make a cargo hauler, because that's really what I want to make next. Like, that's probably going to be like my main vehicle to do the contract. So it's just going to be something for cargo hauling, so we can just everywhere we go, all these missions we do, stock up on some materials, do some stuff. But I really wanted to make that nicely, and I wanted to have the base up and running. So I think I am at least going to make this miner welded up. Obviously we're going to be rollless, but it will be usable as soon as we get the gold. Maybe we find some gold lying around the planet, if anything, you know what I mean? So I guess I am just going to get to work welding up our lovely little miner. And realistically, this episode might just end here for the most part. I know we don't have the miner. I will work in my free time to weld up the miner, fly it, test it, see if it all works, hopefully not crash it, because we're not going to have drills on it right away. So unfortunately, we have a mining design that we aren't going to fully be able to use. We have an ore detector now that I put on the grasshopper, and so we could find ore with that, but I really have to go out and get ore for welding this up to begin with. If we find gold and we're able to do the assembler here and make the drills, I mean, we can stay planet side. We just have to look. We just have to look around, man. But this is and this will always be my space engineer's journey, man. So we are in episode 4, man. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm having a blast playing it. The game's actually working super smooth in its current iteration, but as you can see, there's some downfalls. There is some gating behind the current scenario we are in, where we have to progress through the colonization. I am testing it out, trying it out, and seeing how colonization system works. But if we didn't blow up everything, it would have been a lot smoother, man. But in the meantime, we designed a mining ship, and you're just gonna have to tune in and find out next time if this bad boy can even fly in its condition. And hey, who knows, I may even find some gold along my journey, man. So if that is the case, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned, man. But without further ado, I'm out of here.